Thank you, Dr. Mishra, Dr. Chauhan, and all of you. It was really wonderful to listen to all of you, and with so much praise for Dr. Mishra. This is my first visit to this place. So I'm really amazed in the words of praise which you have showered on him. You must be really doing a good job. It's really nice to listen to all that. The first speaker said why people don't teach. They don't teach because they're scared of competition. No, they're not scared of competition. They're scared of the complications done by the student which they can handle or not. If they're confident of that, they will teach. So they have to be first confident, then only they can teach. And teaching, I always feel, should be there. That's one of the easiest way of letting the world remember you. So there is a costly way of you make Taj Mahal and people remember you. But if you teach students, they will remember you. And they will tell their children also that they have been taught by such and such person. So that is one of the easiest way of letting the world remember you by teaching, and I don't think it's very expensive. So now Dr. Chauhan said a few words about anesthesia. Do you really want to know what the problems in anesthesia due to laparoscopy or? Okay, I'll take few minutes then. The main thing is in laparoscopy, which all starts from inflation of the abdomen, distending the abdomen, and that too by a gas which can create problem, though it is one of the safe gases. So distension means you have to enlarge the thing. Distension means increased intra-abdominal pressure, problem of regurgitation. So the airway has to be secure. Never allow your anesthetist to perform anesthesia without securing the airway. Of course, many of us have started using laryngeal mask airway and all those things, but they are now very well designed and people are confident of using that. But in any case, if there has to be over distension, then the tube has to be in place. That is one thing. The second is because of the pressure on the vena cava. Vena cava affecting the venous return and then affecting the hemodynamics. So that pressure you have to control. So give that much pressure only which is necessary for your case. And the cases you must discuss with the anesthetist beforehand, especially cases who are having pre-existing diseases. So don't over-distend in those cases where it is not required. And in case it is required and patient is having a decreased cardiac output for some reason, MI or other complications, then you must control the inflation, discuss with the anesthetist, and always take feedback from the anesthetist. Don't try to work laparoscopy in isolation and don't look at the anesthetist. No, that is not to be done. It's a teamwork which you have to do. So always keep on interacting with the anesthetist, how he is feeling. Just have a look at his face also at times. His face is going to reflect, his or her face is going to reflect. Whether he's sweating, he himself is getting pale, and all those problems are there. Then accidental injection of the gases. For that, EtCO2 monitoring is a must in laparoscopic surgery. That you must insist. Whatever the standard of operation theatres you have, I think EtCO2 monitoring is now the basic monitoring for any surgery, and for laparoscopy it is must. So insist on EtCO2 monitoring. That is going to save many patients. That will declare the complications at the early stages. So that is one thing. Then other thing is all part of anesthesia. This is where you interact with the anesthetist. How and everything revolves around the distension of the abdomen with the gas which you are going to put in. How much pressure, how much gas you are. Time, of course, is a factor because as the time goes on, the gas is absorbed. CO2 being highly soluble gas is absorbed into the tissues and it gets deposited in the tissue. It's a highly soluble gas, so these things will keep on happening. So longer the surgery, more is the problem. Inflamed the abdomen, the peritoneum is inflamed, more is the absorption. So in case there is acute appendicitis or this peritonitis and you are doing laparoscopy, if the duration of surgery is more, the likelihood of CO2 absorption will be much more into the tissues, and then ultimately affecting the whole body physiology. So that aspect you have to keep in mind, and then depth of anesthesia, especially when you are working around the porta. That is the area which is very sensitive to nerves. Whenever your laparoscope touches that area, till you have cut the tissues, till you have divided the duct in the liver surgery, that area is always going to give reflexes and they will be seen on the monitor. The tachycardia is there, the arrhythmias are there. So just be careful at that stage, because that porta is always very sensitive area. The nerve supply is very good, and once you have dissected it and cut it, you will see that all the arrhythmias have disappeared. That's a very common thing. So keep that in mind, and whenever you are there, just keep on interacting, especially with a patient who is already having arrhythmia problems. Besides this, post-op care, good care has to be there, because all the CO2 which has been absorbed will be released, and that is going to affect the PA CO2 and expired oxygen, expired CO2 concentration. So oxygen supplement in the post-op period, in proportion to the duration of surgery and condition of the peritoneum, is must. And if a patient is sedated, then you have to take care of that part also. See that that is taken care of. The patient, even if you are giving oxygen supplement, the CO2 washout is not adequate because of lack of depth of respiration, patient will be harmed in the post-op. So that aspect, post-op period, that has to be taken care of. Pain is generally not much of a problem in the post-op period, but intraoperative GCR has to be put. The choice of spinal for laparoscopy is a debatable thing. Some people try to do it, but the pain from the dome of the diaphragm is generally bothersome to the patient, and patients don't like it. So it's not a textbook recommendation, but yes, some people do it, and some anesthetists, they are fond of it. I am not. Any other questions if you have regarding anesthesia, you can ask. I've given you some very basics of anesthesia in relation to laparoscopy. Any queries? But one thing, go and teach other people also. And tell them where you have learned this, and then they will remember it. But teach everybody around. It's a very nice feeling. You see, I used to teach in All India Institute of Medical Sciences, the nurses, the students. 10 years down the line, I was moving into a place, somebody came and just touched my feet. I didn't recognize him. He said, "Sir, you have taught me." So it was a very nice feeling, you see. So just keep on teaching, whatever you can teach. It's not necessary that you teach them laparoscopy. Whatever you can teach, just teach. Word is going to get wiser by the teaching which we give to our students. Thank you.